25% of the credit reports contained errors serious enough to result in denial of credit. 79% of credit reports issued contained mistakes of some kind. You have to remember that when people are pulling credit reports, they're human beings most of the time punching in those keys. It's very easy when you're punching in numbers to punch in a wrong number. So you want to make sure that everything on there is correct. Once a year, always check your credit report. Annualcreditreport.com is the cheapest. It's free. They only charge you if you want your score. But if you're just looking to check over your credit report, correct anything on your credit report, that's the one that you want to go to, because they're not going to try to have you join a club or pay a monthly fee or any of that stuff. If there's anything on your credit report that's inaccurate, the first thing you want to do is you want to validate it. You want to validate the debt. What that means is you write a letter to the credit reporting agency and you say, I want proof that this debt is mine. Now, if you find out that it is your debt, then obviously you got to take steps to pay it. Credit scores, 9 things that don't matter, 5 that do. Your employment history does not factor into your credit score whatsoever. The interest rates on your debt, they don't factor into the credit score. The credit score is what dictates the interest rates. Your savings, if you have a whole bunch of money in your savings account, it's not going to up your credit score. They don't care. Where you live has absolutely nothing to do with it. If you live in Beverly Hills, believe me when I tell you, your credit score ain't going to be any better than anybody who lives in South Buffalo. Your national origin, whether or not you can speak English, has nothing to do with your credit report, but people think it does for some reason. Also, your gender has nothing to do with your credit report, and your race has nothing to do with your credit report. Your age has absolutely nothing to do with your credit score. Credit is the great equalizer. It doesn't go by gender, it doesn't go by race, it doesn't go by color, creed, age, anything. Credit is the universal straight line. What does count, as we covered before, your payment history. That covers 35% of your credit score. How much you owe covers 30% of your credit score. The length of your credit history covers 15%. And new credit and types of credit used are 10%. Like I said, bring down your debt. If you have a $1,000 credit limit, you don't want to have more than $100 as used credit. Inaccurate credit reports can damage 1 in 4 consumers' ability to buy a home, rent an apartment, obtain credit, open a bank account, or even get a job. So 1 in 4 people are going to not get a job, not get an apartment because of their credit score. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying it is what it is. People do tend to put a huge emphasis on credit scores now. Theoretically, the higher your score, the more likely it is you're going to pay. So what can you do to get and keep a higher score? Well, common sense would tell you, don't have any late payments. That's the first thing you can do. Just because you have a grace period doesn't mean you should use it. If your payment got mailed 2 days before your payment date, it's sitting in a pile with 3,000 other payments, right, and it may not get to for 2-3 days. So you're going to end up being late. With the new credit card law, if you're late, you can have a 6% interest payment, turn up to 29% interest payment overnight. Second, don't have a sudden surge of credit activity or credit inquiries. Too many credit inquiries will also make a bank or a lending institution very, very nervous. The third, don't tap out your credit usage. Using more than 30% of a credit line seems to negatively impact a credit score. When you're starting out and building credit, I tell folks, get a credit card and put like a small bill. Something's like $10, $15 that you know you can pay off in full every month. And that's how you'll build your stuff. You have to have at least 1 credit card. Everybody does. You need to have it for emergencies. Now, just because you have it doesn't mean you have to use it. I would recommend you have one, you save it, you put it aside, and you only use it for emergencies.